These guys, as you know, in England, they start to eat this in posh places. Just expand, start exporting.
What almonds?
Roasted almonds.
Roasted almonds. Okay, Mummy, I am, just so you know, I am filming. That was going to say in the introduction of my video. Hello, everybody. So, this year, well, welcome to my mother is distracting me with crinkly noises. See, also, I hope you enjoy the background ambience of the trees and the cigale and the occasional cockerel. There's a seat half assembled over there. I did all of it that I can. I just need Adam or Dad for brute strength. So yes, I hope you enjoy this video. The other option, obviously, was to film this in my room with the window shut and the fan off. No, it's not going to happen. So if you hear any odd noises, it's ambiance, so it's fine. So in today's video, as you can see from the title, we're doing something new. I talk about films a lot in my vlogs. I don't really talk about them very much in like sit down videos, and seeing as like all of my book videos have gone down really well with you guys, I thought, you know, seeing as like film is like the thing I want to do career-wise, I should maybe talk a little bit more about my love for film as well, because I have a lot of love for film. So the new thing we're going to do is, because you know, Mum just rolled her eyes, thank you Mummy. I feel like I should just put little emojis up here of the faces my mum pulls. Instead of a monthly, Mum is now giving me thumbs up. So instead of like, oh the almonds, what do you just give me thumbs up? I'm great too. Now on, instead of a monthly favourite, I'm going to do like a monthly rundown of like all the films I watched, and I'll specify like whether it was in the cinema, like I mean all of them, like if it was in the cinema, if it was on Netflix, if it was online, if it was, you know, on like Sky Go or on demand or something like that. I will share all of them with you no matter how old or new they are. I will obviously prioritise the new ones, and in the description I'll make sure I timestamp everything that I talk about. If I'm going to do a massive spoiler, I will probably tell you and tell when to skip to if you don't want spoilers. So now that we've, you know, done our admin. These are the films I watched in June and July. I would have filmed this earlier, but I was assembling, or attempting to assemble, IKEA furniture. The films I watched during this month, put the timestamp here and below so you can skip to whatever you want to go see. I watched Ocean's 8, I watched the McQueen documentary, I watched Incredibles 2, I watched Victoria and Abdul, I watched Happy Death Day, and I've been repeatedly watching The Big Shave.
What about the one with the...
Oh, and I watched the other guys yesterday.
The nuns.
The nuns?
The Polish nuns.
I watched that maybe a year ago. The idea is, I give them a review. You're making lots of noise. Can you just like pour some out into your hands so you don't constantly, because I have them. Because obviously what my audience mum is hearing is just this. It's almost as bad as me saying moist. I'm just gonna
very moist.
Basically, I'm going to do a rundown of all the films I watched that month. At the end, I will also say all the films I want to see in the like coming months. One of the ones Mum and I really want to see is, as you may have assumed, it's Mamma Mia. Here we go again. Do you want to see Mamma Mia? Yeah. Anyway, on with the video before it's a million hours long. Because of all the editing of the crinkling of packets I need to do. So let's start with Ocean's 8. I went and saw this with Ophelia, and I get serious in front of my mum. It was a very like gay experience, to be honest. It's just so nice to see an all-female cast, but they are the ones you're all interested in, and it's just like they're all so good looking, and they're all just it's like massive eye candy for an entire film, and it's just, they're all fabulous, and it's just like, also Kate Blanchett in like suits was amazing. Oh, it was it was really nice. And the one thing that was really pissed me off though about that is because I saw someone write a review somewhere calling it like a heist flick. Why does it need to be a fucking heist flick? Like, okay, chick flick, yeah, funny, great, whatever, but like, why does it have to be a heist flick just because it's like an entirely female cast, and like, yeah, you're marketing it a majority female audience? Like, that doesn't make it a fucking flick, okay? It's just really like, it's kind of like, you know, the inherent sexism. It's just like, can we not? I personally think it was a very well coordinated film in terms of like, the wanky thing I said to Ophelia afterwards is like, I thought the editing and the way it was shot primarily, the way in which it was so well coordinated and organised very much mimicked the sort of overall arching theme of the overall plot of the film being, you know, it's a heist film, so there's a lot of like organisation that goes into it. So I kind of thought that was really well reflected in the way that the plot played out. And it's also just, it showed a lot of like sparkly things and a lot of really nice, a lot of attention was put towards the wardrobe, and like you can really see that they focused on filming that as well. And that's something I really enjoyed, because like when you watch films directed by men versus directed by women, I feel like the ones by women, they put a lot more focus and emphasis on wardrobe. We are a lot more like, I don't know, in tune and aware of what we wear versus what men are. Obviously some men are, but only really, I think, some. I think they put a lot of effort into that, and it really paid off. And like there's this one shot of Rihanna where she walks out, she's in this red dress, and it's just like, great. And it was just overall a very enjoyable film. And then Ophelia and I immediately just said that we wanted to see it all over again. How are that? Can you pass me one of those, Mum? Is that how they get the different colours?
No, I don't think so. This is just not entirely right. I don't know. I don't want to say something stupid in front of your camera.
Don't worry, Mum, it's never stopped me before. There you go, that was my show and tell for the day. So I think all in all, a very, very enjoyable film. And I don't think it deserves the whole chick heist flick thing, because it was also a very well thought out film. And like, the one thing though is James Corden? Does he have something to do with the other films? The tone was very weird when they threw him in, because it was kind of like, it just didn't seem to like, it was very noticeable and very apparent. Like, it kind of caught you off guard going, why is James Corden in this film? I also think in terms of it being part of a series, it was very easy to like jump into. I didn't think I had to watch the other films, nor did I feel the need to either. Like, I was like, I can enjoy this as it is. I don't feel the need to like watch all the others just so this makes sense. Which is not what you can say about any of the fucking Marvel films, and that is why I also don't like them. That's a whole other video. Or just comment debate thing that I don't want to start. I realise now the power I have as a YouTuber to start discussions in the comments when I ask people to vote on whether they like salt and vinegar or cheese and onion crisps more. So we're gonna move on. I really, really enjoyed that film. Should I put a little, there's a thingy there, and I'm gonna put like my rating underneath. I'll also talk about the films I didn't like, because I think that's also really interesting too. So the next one that I watched was the McQueen documentary. I really loved this. I really, really loved it. Honestly, like, for the last 15 minutes, and some of my like other like fashion-focused friends, fashion-focused? We all agreed that like the last 15 minutes you just get so choked up. If somebody had tried to speak to me, I would have just cried. And as well, because I know it's really sad, Mum. I should pull the face. And I also know exactly where his house is. I know exactly where it is. I've walked down that street so many times. It's like, oh, and I like never knew. The first time I actually heard about McQueen was, I remember this newspaper article about his death. Someone else was reading it. I think Mum might have been reading, or it might have been the front cover of the newspaper Mum was reading when we were like, I think we were flying to Venice or something. And I was like 12, 11 or 12. And I remember that. So it's like, I don't know. It was just so weird seeing like everything then that led up to that moment, because I've only really known Sarah Burton as the designer for McQueen, so it's really interesting seeing what his influence actually was. It's a beautiful film, and there's a lot of like archive footage, and the interviews with the friends and like family was very touching. I just think it's like, I don't think delicately done. Mum, can I have one?
No.
Why? I don't want to say like delicately done, because I don't think that's the right wording for it, but it was very well done and like respectfully done, I think, and the use of like archive footage was just really well done. In it, McQueen is even joking, calling them the McQueen tapes or something. It was something like that. It's just very, if you have an interest in fashion, no matter like what sort of aspect, just honestly I would really recommend watching it. Like, even if you don't necessarily, even if you would never wear anything McQueen ever designed, I would still honestly recommend it as a film to go see. Even if you're interested in just documentaries rather than fashion, I would still really highly recommend it. The only thing I could think about saying of it was that they didn't touch very much on Savage Beauty. I think it was a collection he designed right after Isabel Blow, I think that's her name, like she died. And obviously seeing as the influence that exhibition had with the Met and the V&A being their like most successful exhibitions ever, I'm surprised they didn't like, it was honestly like a few seconds and that was it. So while I can understand like why they didn't, I also was surprised that they didn't, you know? I was expecting at least like more than like a couple of shots of it. The next thing I watched, I've been waiting 14 fucking years to watch, but it was so worth it. It was The Incredibles. Oh my god. Okay, I just go in with this. I'm an incredibly broody person, and every scene with Jack made me so incredibly happy. It made me so happy. I also saw that somebody tweeted that they wanted a short film about the night Edna babysat, and I could not agree more. Having seen the last film as a child, it's just so nice to see it like when we're so much more grown up. And when we were in the cinema, Mum, when we were in the cinema watching Incredibles 2, there was not a single child in there.
What?
It was only grown-ups.
Hello.
There was not a single child. And the thing is, I think, what's his name, Brad Bird, the guy who directed it, he directed the first film as well. He's like, one of the reasons that they delayed it so much was the fact that like so many superhero films started coming out and they just didn't know really what to do with it. And also like the way they left it as well. Chris and I both agreed like they didn't do very much with it in the actual film, but you can kind of understand, like they left it there. And then for 14 years they're thinking, shit, how do we actually get out of this one? I'm surprised they didn't like touch back on that really. It was a very enjoyable film. They did a lot about like, you know, Elastigirl wants to go and like save people herself, and then like, you know, Mr. Incredible is like left at home with the kids, and like that dynamic as well I think was really interesting and really well done. Not in a way that's like trying to force it down your throat, but still in a way obviously that a child can still enjoy it. So I think it was very well done in that way. Chris and I really love kids films, and we always enjoy the fact that like there's the entertainment bit for kids, but then all the jokes that children don't get that like go over your head as a child, but when you're an adult you're like, oh, that meant something else. See for reference, baby it's better down where it's wetter. Moving on from that, I just thought it's really well animated. It's really nice. You know how animation has changed so much over the last 10 years as well, like especially, but like they still try to like, it's like the first film they did it almost out of necessity. So the second film they had so many more options, but they still like kept it, but they did it like a little bit better. Does that make any, I hope I'm verbalizing what I want to. I'm sure as I do these I will get better at like saying what I want to say about these films. But I can tell you if you guys want to see it, like it's really, I don't know if it's in the cinema anymore. I'm sure it'll appear online somewhere legally. I thought it was a really enjoyable story. It was 2.5, I think it's 2 hours long, which for a kids film as well is very, very long, which I think again shows that they were expecting more of a predominantly grown-up audience initially at least, and then over time it just becomes a kids film again. Does that make sense? Because obviously everyone who saw it as a kid is now 14 years older. So I think they touched upon like, especially parenting. They kept saying that like the best superhero you can have is being a parent and stuff like that, which is really, it was a very sweet sentiment, and I really enjoyed the entire film. And any scene with Jack, there's just, okay, no, it's not a spoiler, but like Jack and the raccoon is just amazing. I'm probably gonna say don't read the comments in case of spoilers. It's probably a thing that'll have to be a rule. Can't control the comments. I can't control the comments. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So those three I watched in the cinema. These are the two I watched on Sky Demand. I watched Victoria and Abdul, which is a film with Judi Dench in it. It's about like the end of Queen Victoria's life, where he's like an Indian butler, and then he sort of just becomes promoted and more promoted, and the word for teacher becomes her teacher. No, not a courtier, like her manji. I'll put it on here. I'm sorry if I butchered that or got that completely fucking wrong. It was a very nice film. It was very sweet film that I think, because I watched it with his mum, we both agreed it was like unexpectedly funny. Just some of the things that Judi Dench as Queen Victoria says are just very like, some of them are abrasive and rude and like, but in a really funny way. But you just don't think that it's gonna be funny, and it was just very nice. I enjoyed it. I could almost tell though that they had less of a budget, like Victoria films that I've seen, which I thought was quite interesting. Just when you like start picking up on it, especially just in terms of like the camera work, I think. It sounds bad, I feel like the camera work made it seem cheap. Yeah, I'm sure that makes sense to people who make films. I'm not sure how much to the rest of you guys, but I don't know, I thought that was quite noticeable. But I thought the script and the acting were really, really good though, and I really liked the whole film. I don't know if it's one I'd watch again or would have paid to watch, but Mum, I reckon you would have enjoyed it. Probably catered to its audience very well, and probably not necessarily its target audience, you know, unexpectedly funny. But one that Chris and I watched on Sky was Happy Death Day. This, like I said this on Twitter, this is just a classic crap horror film of like a horror flick, but it's not trying to be anything it's not. It embraces that. The cat is up the tree. He just ran up the tree. That tree. He just ran up it. Cat in the tree. It doesn't try to be anything it's not, and embraces that, and what it does is very well. So the concept of it is like, it's like Groundhog Day, but this girl has to solve her own murder, and if she doesn't do it, she dies every single time until she keeps doing it. It's just that concept, and I think they just do it very, very well, and it's just really enjoyable. It's not that scary. Like, I'm not really partial to horror films, so like I could watch it, it's completely fine. It's a good one to cozy up with someone too and be like, let's watch a horror film, but it's not really a horror film. It's like a couple of jump scares. So if like you want to pretend you watch horror films to seem cool, that's one to watch. I've never watched a horror film just to impress someone. And the last one I guess I can talk about is one that I've been watching on repeat, literally frame by frame. It's Martin Scorsese's The Big Shave. It's actually here on YouTube. I'll link it down below for you guys, because I'm currently using that for inspiration's sake, and I just think it's a really interesting film to watch. I was actually watching an interview with Scorsese, and one of the things he said was that like, you go to film school to get your hands on the equipment rather than to be taught. I don't know, it just made me laugh and quite, I don't know, resonated with me, because I have flip-flopped in the past about whether I should have gone to film school, but I guess I had YouTube and I have a camera, so I didn't really need to, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to me. It's a very, very famous short film for such a famous director as well, and I think because the concept of it is very, very simple, that a lot of people do then want to recreate it. It's very indicative, I guess. It's like, because of like the kind of gore and violence in it, well, the gory and violent it's not really, is it violent? I don't know. I don't know if I classify it as that, but like sort of the essence of it is very much characteristic of a lot of what is sort of the essence of his later films, because its alternative title is like Viet 67, so it's more about like a commentary. It's kind of like a dark commentary on America's engagement in the war in Vietnam, the idea of like sending them to die, and like about PTSD as well, I think. It's just very Scorsese, let's say, and it's just interesting seeing how early on like you do develop your style, and how like even in something so short, because it's only 5 minutes long, because I did take film for a year and then dropped it because I hated it. We were showing it in class, and like you always like you watch it, because we watched it on a big screen first time, you watch it and you have to just sit there like you watch it. If you're a filmmaker, I would really recommend watching that as part of your like film education. But yeah guys, I think for a first attempt at one of these videos, I'm sure I will improve. There's always a learning curve with these things. So yes, I'm going to leave this here. I hope this was okay. If you have any suggestions of talking points for each film, I would very much appreciate it. I will try and do one of these at the end of August if I've seen enough films. If not, I'll just do as I've done here, and I'll combine them. I'll keep a list on my phone. If you have any film recommendations, by all means leave them down below. That's something I will always want from you guys, and same with books. I've made a playlist, I'll link that down below and at the end as well, of all my film and book related videos. But yeah, the only film I really want to see in August is Mamma Mia. Here we go again. So that's my August vibe. Hopefully this inspires me, and maybe you guys as well, to go to the cinema more. There is always something about seeing something on a big screen which is so much more satisfying than watching it, you know, on your phone screen. Like the one film I think I never ever want to see on anything less than a big screen is Nolan's Dunkirk. I don't think I ever want to see that on a small screen, because it's something, especially with the sound of it, you just need a massive screen to watch it on. But yeah, I digress. I make videos currently 2 a week, but they usually pop up on a Tuesday, Thursday or Sunday at HGMT time. Let's grab on all that jazz. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. I'm sat at the table so I can't sit down.